This is what you start off with. This is your slipcase for the book. And inside are a number of things. It's like a box set, but it's a whole kit, really. That's your slipcase. Here is the book, Queen in 3D, by me. And here is the case for your owl. And this is the stereoscope, which I designed. I mean, I didn't invent the stereoscope. That was invented in the 1830s by a man called Charles Wheatstone. An amazing invention. But this is basically a 21st century Victorian stereoscope, and there is nothing better, I've got to tell you. You know, you've all seen Avatar, and we've seen great stuff in the movies, we've had 3D TV, but this thing is still the best way of looking at immersive stereoscopic views. So I just did that, you know, this is while we were talking, I just did that. So it's very easy to fold it up and latch it together, ready for use. You hold it by its back plate like this, and you put your thumbs in these thumb holes here, and you can focus this way. This is how you focus the owl. So you shouldn't need your spectacles or whatever. You should be able to view it no matter what kind of eyesight you've got. So I've now positioned my viewer over the images like this. You have to make sure you get enough light, that's crucial. But then you can view, and my God, you're then looking as if you weren't looking at a flat page at all. It's as if you were looking through the book, through a window, into the scene as it is and as it was at the time. So you get this amazing feeling of actually being there. It's much more realistic than any flat picture could be. So the book is filled with this stuff, and I had my stereo camera with me the whole time while we were on tour and in the studio, all the way through Queen days. The very first image you see is me as a kid, 1958. So I'm 11 years old here with my first guitar, which my mum and dad bought me, and it was very difficult for them to buy something like this for me because we were very poor, but somehow they managed to cough up 8 guineas to get me this guitar. Stayed with me for a long time, and I still have this guitar. So the next picture in the book is you see me not with a guitar but with this little camera. This is a tiny little 2 and 6penny Woolworths camera. It's not a stereo camera, but I figured out how you could take stereo pictures with this camera by going click, click. So it's called sequential stereos. And basically you're using your mono camera to make stereo pictures. There's been a million pictures taken of us on stage, and there are some good ones on stage of us in the book, you know, in stereo, in 3D. But what's different about this is it's the intimate pictures behind the scenes when we're not on stage and we're in a relaxed mode. So here's one of Freddie on a boat, on a ferry boat, and he's not posing for anyone, he's just there normal. And I was used to snapping, so nobody took any notice of what I was doing. In fact, we all snapped away, including Freddie with his camera. So I looked through here and I looked through this window, and there's Freddie thinking about the next gig, or actually we're going to an awards show, I think, at this point. I mean, not every image in the book is 3D, but these are particularly nice. They were on the same roll of film. This was actually taken on a visit of some Japanese journalists from Music Life. They came down to Ridge Farm, where we were working on the next album, which was going to be a night at the opera. And here's Freddie relaxing, drinking a cup of tea, as he liked to do. A nice sunny day. We played tennis for him. It's all in the book, actually, which we never normally did. None of us were great tennis players, but, you know, it made a nice photography session. Freddie was actually a very, very mean table tennis player. Like, he wasn't interested in football. So people think that, like, We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions were written about football, but they weren't. They were written about people and how they feel. It's just a beautiful shot. And I took this not with a normal stereo camera, but with a beam splitter on the front of a Pentax. And it needed a little bit of sorting out to make it really enjoyable to view. But in the stereoscope, it's beautiful because you just feel like you're right next to Freddie, and you're seeing him doing his thing. And it's just a very intimate moment. And I have John and I have Roger doing similarly kind of intimate things. Freddie actually was very shy, and sometimes in the presence of a photographer he would freeze a bit, you know, he'd put on his smile and he would get a little tense, whereas these pictures that you see in this book, none of us are tense, we're just being with each other. I mean, we're not always being nice to each other, but, you know, we're like brothers or family, or like a marriage on the road, you know, we're being normal people. So that's what you see, I think, in this book. You see people who are normal, but in a very abnormal situation, touring the world being treated like gods by some people and idiots by other people, as is the way, you know. But a very unusual situation and a very privileged situation in a way, because we were able to interact with every country that we went to. We weren't just tourists, we were working with them and becoming part of their culture, and they're becoming part of ours.